Many of the government ventures don't make money, but still salaries get paid.
All these government schemes keep on tumbling down.
For all the complaints that I have against the economic management, I'm still hoping we survive. Indian economy is now sizable, so a decline here can impact other economies.
No, India is not taking any stance or any political say. Coming to this GST issue, I recently read a report that states that when they actually implemented the GST, the center promised the states that they would take care of the deficit for another 18 months, if I'm not wrong, from the implementation of GST.
So I think
But recently they've issued a report saying they cannot actually
they're
implement it.
reneging on some promise made to states. The states all got on board GST saying this is inevitable, it's going to happen. You give me some guarantees that my budget won't be squeezed.
Exactly.
Those budget guarantees were provided and they've been reneged on.
Yes.
The government is saying, look, we can't be in track and a half place. Our numbers are all over the place. So this is the reality of it. This also, it is a reality of it. The government is not disproportionately increasing center share. It doesn't have money to give and it's telling it like that.
That will travel all the way down to the consumer. It will travel from the state to the center to the government.
If the tax programs don't realize enough money, then you are in trouble. I've heard issues of BSNL. BSNL government is not able to support BSNL. BSNL has not made money for a long time. And so our electricity boards don't make money. Our Air India doesn't make money. So many of the government ventures don't make money, but still salaries get paid. But now the government is squeezed and these companies still don't make money. The government can't bail them out. So some of they're facing existential questions. That is an issue. The states being squeezed is an issue of our poor tax collection. It is not yet an issue of center bullying states. The center is genuinely squeezed. It's passing on. It's like a business was making profits and paying bonuses. Not making profits. The CEO calls the entire team and saying, "Dude, salary cut for all of you."
No, I understand that the centers is not receiving the money enough to pay the states, but isn't there something which should have been taken into consideration while they actually passed the GST? Because actually, if I'm not wrong, I think it was in contention for a long period, even when the previous government was there, but they still didn't implement
The
it.
states won't trust this government for a long time. They won't help pass through another GST-like law just because some promise was made. They're going to face a trust problem. But I don't think the states have a sufficiently good recourse. No, they can't say, you have to give me the money. A promise was made, it was breached, it was reneged. The states have every right to be pissed, they will be. But the only thing is, it is a squeeze and not a change in policy. If there's a squeeze and they're saying, look, I'm squeezed, you have to share the burden. Again, come back to the trust deficit. There is a certain aspect where the center has been bullying a few or many of the states on different issues. And they've not been as accommodative of everything, every group of people as other governments have been, or they should have been. We are a country with so many diverse interests that you can't say, I need you, I'll have you, I don't need you, I'll screw you over. Such is the reality of this. And expect them to turn up for the party next cycle around. They've been blowing up and screwing over people and parties slightly ruthlessly here and there, up to and inclusive of their treatment of their own allies. They made a hash of the whole Shiv Sena.
Maharashtra.
So they've been slightly on the bullying mode. When the tide turns, some of these guys will be waiting to give it back to them.
No, but because of demonetization, we all realize that the actual aim of demonetization was not satisfied. It is a failure, though we've achieved it all come back to the system. So with all these issues keep on tumbling, like this GST implementation, which is also not achieve the result, demonetization not achieve the result, and there's so many of all these government schemes keep on tumbling down.
Correct.
So
on the economy, there have been abject, complete, unadulterated failure.
So that would create a lot of distrust in the minds of the people.
Problem with like the previous thing we were discussing, they have a news calendar which is running at full speed. It's running at full speed, and so we don't have time to pause and say these guys have mismanaged the economy so much. And if there's overall recovery that happens globally, we'll ride out and escape. India has had miserable moments which have escaped from by the skin of our teeth in the past. For all the complaints that I have against the economic management, I'm still hoping we survive. Because the fallout will be incredibly harsh on the poor people. There's a part of me which is just filled with schadenfreude and say, look, you screwed it up, I hope you face the problem. No, they are not going to face the problem. You and I are going to, and the poor are going to face it disproportionately heavily. So the big complaint which we touched upon is a lot of this news making has been because this is a horror show. And I think that is true. There's been occasion after occasion that they're not at the maturity to handle uh, the economy, and they've not understood the impact of all their shoot from the hip policies on a giant and diverse economy like India. The industry guys have come and said, look, this lack of trust is going to hurt us. They come and said that. The government is not worried about it too much. We've had instances where we said, if you have so much trust is not there, then a lot of problems go awry. That happen. They said if you're getting squeezed and you screw over the states, that's going to be an issue. They're not bothered. So even the tax cut, I think, is a soft given to industry because of a few tweets. Tax cuts don't do much to the wider economy if the mechanisms are not in place. They don't have the leadership to pull through a proper infrastructure build-up plan. When we had the money, we should have done all this. Now we don't have the money. So now we are in scramble mode. As an economy, as a set of corporates, as individuals, every little bit here and there is going to get cut. Subsidies are going to get cut here and there. So whatever freebies you are getting from government is going to get cut. Telecom prices are going to go up. So like for like lifestyle that we had for a certain salary a year ago to a year from now is going to be worse. Our costs are going to creep up. Our taxes are going to creep up, even though there's a tax cut for corporates, not for individuals. So the Airtels and Vodafones are getting more money, but the amount of tax burden that you and I have will probably go up. So if your salary is 100 last year and say 105 now because you've got a wage hike, inflation is at 6% in line with your wage hike, but there's going to be more taken away naturally. The quality of life will fall. We're looking at that. I don't think there is an easy way out. That's going to happen. We're setting ourselves for belt tightening and having worse lifestyles for 12, 18 months. If the global economy cooperates, this brilliant smooth sailing with nothing funny happening in Iran and US, China and coronavirus and all that for 6 months, 9 months, then all of these problems get mitigated. Something is happening. So if activity is there, then very often economic problems get washed away by inflation, by growth. So they just disappear. That can happen. That does happen.
So one more.
Recently, a report released by IMF in which Geeta Gopinath states that Indian economy might deteriorate the global economy. Might damage.
It can. See, Indian economy is now sizable. So a decline here can impact other economies. But it's not, if you're thinking about somebody sitting in Europe and saying they're looking at variables, they'll say how Europe is doing, how intra-Europe is doing, how US is doing, how China is doing, how Japan and rest of Asia are doing, then India. We are not as phenomenally integrated or as large to be a concern for the rest of the world. We could be a mild drag, not a big issue. And that mild drag will not happen with these problems. It will happen with chaos and the other problem that we discussed. We start people taking to arms and go down streets and start destroying buildings. That is a threat. The GST collection being up and down and fiscal deficit being up and down. That's not really a problem for the global economy. You're too small.
And we were talking about the trade war and between US and China. Do you think there's an opening or a leverage that we can, have in some sort in that,
We have tried. We've done some opportunities where some specific segments have opened up and with some incentives we've done. There is a wedge between the two largest economies, and there's a proper trade war happening. There will be scraps available for everybody to muscle in and do, but we don't seem to be enjoying a particularly great patch in terms of our relationship with the US right now. Mr. Trump has huge support in India. I don't know if you know this. The international surveys are conducted for the US president across the world. The popularity of Mr. Trump is far lower than popularity of Mr. Obama in many countries. One of the few exceptions is India. India loves Trump. India has prayed for Trump in the past.
Why do you think that happened?
Right-wing movement. I think Arvind mentioned this. There's a right-wing movement across the world. So nationalism begets nationalism. It's very simple. So suppose you're living in a building colony, and you have a party, and you call your friends, but not the friends in your neighborhood. Next time they have a party, they'll make it a point to call their office friends and not call you. So if India becomes more nationalistic, so will Pakistan. If America make America great again, America first policy, then China will not say India, China, America, bye. So nationalism begets nationalism. I want to look after my own. So will the next guy. So right wing fosters right wing everywhere. That's why the right-wing movements in the world are all pally-pally. Donald Trump loves Boris Johnson. He loves Nigel Farage. He probably likes the Hungarian president and the Brazilian president as well. On the Philippines guy. So he's not that particularly predisposed to Narendra Modi, not because of an ideological difference, but we don't have that relationship.
I think recently Narendra Modi invited the Brazilian president over today. For the
Today.
So, right-wing, bye-bye.
Yeah.
Screw your neighbors.
Both are extremes.
So the hyper-nationalism flies. They identify with neighborhood hyper-nationalism and other nationalism. So like I am for myself, you are for yourself, we can still be friends. Like that thing.
But India has also not taken a clear stance, especially with this US-Iran tensions.
Correct.
So Iran is a very good friend of India.
Correct.
Because we import
That's
most
also
of
one
our
of the reasons why we are not likely winners in the US-China trade war.
Exactly. So
Because India wants to have one foot in Iran as well.
So
We
China
don't-
is clearly supporting Iran and US clear the opposition. So India is not even taking a middle ground. India is just coming out of the war. Like I have no say in this. So
Correct.
That is
Like,
the-
we have a relationship with Iran, we have a relationship with US. Screwing either will cause trouble. We have a potential to have a long-term, compellingly good relation with the US. And we have an oil problem. So with our oil deficit and energy deficit, we simply cannot afford to fall afoul of any Middle Eastern country.
no, India is not even standing as a peace provider here. Like, that is actually a statement. That is actually a statement made by not wrong. I'm not sure which minister, but one of the left like UP government ministers. So
Saying India is not providing peace to the
no, India is not taking any stance or any political say.
Correct.
Neither the
We're saying we have one-
Sometimes not taking a stance is a stance.
Sometimes
To
not
convey
anything,
something.
We're not poking our nose in anything. We're not claiming to understand that. I'm not sure that's the worst thing to do. Because I don't think that even US and Iran understand what they're going through. You know, because American foreign policy in Middle East has been charitably, you can describe it as confused. It's nothing, it's just all over the place. And Iran is the meddles phenomenally in a variety of local conflicts. The counterweight to Iran is Saudi. And Saudi meddles mainly. The guys who are not as big as Iran and Saudi are probably the Emirati group. They meddle. So they're at least meddling in affairs that they understand their feudal clans and they get it. We cannot claim to understand a Sunni Shia conflict or a Saudi Iran conflict and the role of US and China in that. So we are better off trying to maintain a decent relationship with both without committing to either. I don't think US or Iran will be pissed with us for having a relationship with the other. They cannot afford to be. And we cannot afford to just shut the door on one. We don't need to. We should probably have one foot in each.
Pragmatic.
For the economy, I don't think there is one. We are going to sit here and prescribe one fabulous plan. From point of view of interview, we need to understand that which sector is weak, what is happening, what is the government doing, what can we do, what can possibly be a solution, why is unemployment this high and why is it a problem. You will not be asked for any serious questions on economics. These are questions which economists have explored, tried to answer and failed. So you need to know the facts and information and where things are headed, but you don't need to have answers.